Executive Officer, Datuk Captain Nur Azman Mahmud says airlines will resume operations depending on the weather report. Forecast shows the volcanic ash clouds will begin to dissipate from the Sarawak region at 7 p.m. and will completely clear Borneo by 10 p.m. tonight. Scores of passengers were stranded at Kuala Lumpur's terminals early on Thursday as airlines cancelled flights, mainly on routes between Kuala Lumpur and Kota Kinabalu as well as Kuching. Meanwhile, AirAsia said in a statement that the airline had reinstated several flights scheduled to and from Sabah and Sarawak, involving the Bintulu, Kuching, Sibu, Johor Bahru and Kota Bahru routes. Earlier, Malaysia Airlines cancelled 19 flights, while AirAsia cancelled 16 flights. The airline has offered a one-time change or refund for affected passengers. Meanwhile, Indonesian authorities have issued a tsunami warning after Mount Ruang erupted several times, raising fears it could collapse into the sea and trigger a tsunami. Rescuers have evacuated thousands of people around the volcano today. Authorities have also closed a nearby airport and warned of falling debris. The volcanic eruption on the remote island of North Sulawesi spewed fiery lava and ash up to 3 kilometers into the sky. At least 800 people in the province were evacuated from the area, with authorities widening the evacuation zone after the country's volcanology agency raised the alert status. The government has agreed in principle to consider extending similar annual allocations to elected representatives from the opposition. According to Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Sri Fadilah Yusof, a draft memorandum of understanding will be drawn up and extended to the opposition for further discussions.
The matter was agreed upon during the Unity Government Secretariat Supreme Leadership Council meeting on Wednesday, chaired by Prime Minister Datuk Sri Anwar Ibrahim and attended by leaders of other component parties. Meanwhile, opposition leader Datuk Sri Hamzah Zainuddin said Perikatan Nasional welcomed the move, but the party would only make a decision after reviewing the terms of the MOU. The PN Secretary General had earlier confirmed in April that he had received a draft agreement on constituency funds for opposition MPs from a representative of a high-ranking individual, but refused to name the person. Hamzah said PN was waiting for the government to make an official proposal regarding their allocation of 3.8 million ringgit per year, the same amount that government MPs receive.
In other news, the developer of the Petaling Jaya Traffic Dispersal Link, PJD Link, will be notified in writing about the cancellation of the project. Works Minister Datuk Sri Alexander Nantalinggi clarifies that the developer has not been notified, as the cancellation of the highway project was only announced yesterday by Communications Minister Fahmi Fadzil. Alexander's statement came as the PJD Link developer said on Thursday he had yet to be informed that talks on its request for an extension to meet several conditions precedent had been suspended. Fahmi said on Wednesday that the Cabinet had decided not to proceed with PJD Link after the concessionary failed to meet 6 of the 11 conditions. The company had previously applied twice for an extension to meet the conditions. As a result of that failure, the project was discontinued. The decision on the proposed 7.2 kilometers undersea tunnel project in Pinang is still pending. Chief Minister Chow Kon Yeow says he is awaiting recommendations from the State Steering Committee before making a decision on whether to go ahead with the project. He said the State Executive Council had just been briefed by the Penang Port Commission on its 30-year development master plan. Chow said based on their presentation, the North Butterworth Container Terminal expansion plans would affect the proposed Penang Undersea Tunnel project. Therefore, further revisions are required. The 7.2-kilometer tunnel, which will connect Gurney Drive to Bagan Ajam on the mainland, is part of Penang's transport master plan to ease the state's chronic traffic congestion. We'll go for a quick break. Don't go anywhere.
Raya ini, filem-filem blockbuster untuk anda sekeluarga.
Bermula sekarang.
Rasai pelbagai aksi yang memukau.
sayang family kita buat semua ni.
Bollywood yang menyentuh jiwa.
I love you.
Seram. Lagi ngeri.
Aku tak percaya tu anak kita.
Filem-filem hebat, momen terbaik, masa anugerah terindah.
Leng, tangkap aku, Leng. Bawa aku masuk lokap.
Di Astro dan Astro Go.
Hai adik-adik, jom belajar cara melintas jalan. Lihat kiri, kanan, kiri sebelum melintas. Membantu pelajar melintas dan pastikan pelajar selamat sampai. Jangan tiru pemanduan seperti ini. Contohi pemanduan dan peraturan dengan berhemah.
Welcome back. The European Union top diplomat has warned the Middle East is on the edge of a regional war. EU Foreign Policy Chief Josep Borrell said the existing EU sanctions regime would be strengthened and expanded to punish Tehran and help prevent future attacks on Israel. At the same time, he said Israel needed to exercise restraint.
I don't want to exaggerate, but we are on the edge of a war, a regional war in the Middle East, which will be sending shock waves to the rest of the world, and in particular to Europe. So, stop it, take care of the Gazan people, cease fire, humanitarian support, freedom of hostages.
Borrell made the comments on the sidelines of the G7 foreign ministers meeting to discuss the conflicts in Gaza and Ukraine.
At least 8 people were reported injured on Thursday after a 6.3 magnitude earthquake struck off southwestern Japan, but no major damage or warnings of tsunami were reported.
The epicenter of the earthquake, which hit at 11:14 p.m. local time on Wednesday, was located between the islands of Kyushu and Shikoku. Minor damages were reported in some areas, including broken water pipes, fallen street lights, and a landslide on a national highway. Authorities also reported no abnormalities detected at the Ikata nuclear power plant, but warned of a possibility of other earthquakes with lower intensity. Japan experiences around 1,500 earthquakes every year. The vast majority are mild, and even larger quakes usually cause little damage.
Meanwhile, 6 people have been arrested in connection with what Canadian and US authorities are calling the largest gold heist in Canadian history. Police named 2 Air Canada employees as suspects in the theft of millions of dollars in gold from a cargo facility at the country's busiest airport last year. 3 more suspects are being sought in connection with the case, which took place at an Air Canada cargo facility at Toronto's Pearson International Airport. On April 17, 2023, an air cargo container containing more than 22 million Canadian dollars worth of gold bars and foreign currency was stolen from a secure storage facility using fake paperwork. At least 2 former Air Canada employees were allegedly involved in the theft. Police said the sophisticated organised crime ring planned to use most of the gold and cash to traffic firearms into Canada. Doha's Hamad International has been named the world's best airport at the annual Skytrax Awards, beating 12-time winner Singapore Changi to take the top spot. The Qatar airport was also voted best airport in the Middle East and the best airport shopping in the world.
This is the 3rd time Doha's Hamad has won the Best Airport award. It previously won the title in 2021 and 2022. Changi continued to be recognized as the best airport in Asia and the best in the world for its immigration services. Meanwhile, Korea's Incheon International Airport moved up to 3rd place in the overall rankings, while Japan's Haneda International Airport dropped to 4th place. Kuala Lumpur International Airport was ranked 71st, down 4 places from 2023. The Skytrax World Airport Awards are regarded as the quality benchmark for the global airport industry, and the results are determined by the votes of customers and passengers in a survey.
From extreme heat to annual flooding, the effects of climate change are expected to worsen over time. Junior Cho of Zurich, Malaysia, talks to us about the Urban Climate Resilience Program, an initiative that aims to build sustainable communities that are resilient to the impacts of climate change.
So the Urban Climate Resilience Program, UCRP, as it's called for short, was first launched by the Zurich Foundation in early 2023. And this was really to support the urban communities in 9 countries across the globe. So it's really a collaboration between the Zurich Foundation, the Zurich Insurance Group, the Zurich Flood Resilience Alliance, and a number of city networks globally. And what this does is it builds upon the Zurich Foundation's ongoing climate change work with the Zurich Flood Resilience Alliance, focusing on rural environments and urban spaces. So what is this about? So in this day and age, if you look at climate impacts, these are intensifying. There's a heightened importance to building sustainable, resilient local communities that can withstand, recover, and thrive in the face of climate-related disasters. And what we did was last year in November, we rolled out the UCRP to Malaysia for 2 local communities in Malacca, Kampung Morton and Pantai Perenggit. And this was made possible through a three-party collaboration between the Zurich Malaysia, Zurich Foundation, Resilient Cities Network, and also the historical city of Malacca. Just last month, we did a similar thing, focusing on Kuala Lumpur, and this is in conjunction with the C40 cities. We're also going to expand to 2 communities, PPR Renjin and Kampung Pasir. So for both Malacca and Kuala Lumpur, it's a 3-year program working with the local governments that we hope will strengthen community resilience against climate issues such as floods and extreme heat.
Junior also outlined the steps that need to be taken to ensure that climate-related issues in these communities are properly identified and effectively addressed.
First is to identify and engage with the urban communities in need. Quite often it's very easy for us to kind of surmise and assume certain things. So it's really engaging with the communities to understand where the pain points are. The second is doing an in-depth analysis to understand the community's climate-related issues. The third is to plan and develop and customize the solutions that are relevant for those communities. And the last one is capture that learning and how do we scale that program so that it's more applicable from single communities to more broader base. So the idea is that we collaborate with local partners such as our city, C40, the local authorities, so that we can strengthen that resilience and adaptation. So it's really about providing comprehensive support to local communities in combating the climate change impacts. It's not about just funding some short-term impacts, but really how do you sustain that and be mindful of what it would take to really build that on a longer-term basis.
He also highlights the importance of public-private partnership in addressing climate issues on a long-term basis.
So the moment that we can bring public and private together, it amplifies and then magnifies the impact that we can make. So while I do think that it's important that we have this public and private, what we're trying to do is inspire others, both corporates and individuals, to really take up that charge and see what we can do collectively. So for us, it's having that amplified impact, but also making sure that we inspire others to do more. And that may start with someone, a young kid that's in the kampung that's trying to do something relevant for his or her community. And the way we have to do that is we as corporate citizens need to help support that platform as much as possible. So it's something that we think is quite positive, and we do believe that this needs quite immediate attention for a longer-term basis to really take care of the future generations that are living in those communities.
That wraps our AWANI tonight. I'm Fana Sheh. Thank you for watching.